Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Ozcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wrestling fans of all ages, welcome back to Just Podding Around, the podcast where we talk all things pro wrestling. From 5-star classics to unforgettable moments, this is where we break it all down. I'm your host, Reese Williams, and today we're diving into a crucial element of professional wrestling, the promo. See, wrestling isn't just about in-ring ability. You can have all the technical skills in the world, but if you can't talk, you'll never reach the next level. Promos are what make rivalries personal. They make you love a hero, despise a villain, and hang on to every word. Today, and next episode, we'll be counting down the top 10 greatest wrestling promos of all time. The moments where words alone shook the wrestling world. And today, we're counting from number 10 to number 6, and next episode, 5 to 1. Let's not waste any more time. Grab your favourite beverage, sit back, and let's get into it. We're kicking off this list with a promo that wasn't just powerful, it was personal. Picture this, it's 1995. ECW is the most hardcore wrestling promotion on the planet, filled with chair shots, barbed wire, and rabid fans who demand violence. Mick Foley, wrestling as Cactus Jack, had made a name for himself as one of the toughest, most extreme wrestlers in the business. But then, he saw something in the crowd that shook him. A sign that said, Cane Dewey. Now, Dewey wasn't just a random name. Dewey was Mick Foley's son, and the fans were calling for him to be caned just like the ECW wrestlers. That was the breaking point. Foley grabbed the mic and delivered one of the most emotional promos of all time. He tore into the ECW fans themselves, telling them that he had sacrificed his body for their entertainment, only for them to demand even more. His words were dripping with anger, pain, and betrayal. It was a rare moment where you felt like Foley had snapped, not as a character, but as a father and a man. It was genius. Foley flipped the script, turning on the hardcore audience while still making you sympathise with him. It's one of the most underrated promos ever, and the perfect way to start a list. Now, this one is different. Unlike the other promos on this list, this wasn't a fiery speech or a dramatic monologue. It was comedy gold. In 1999, The Rock was at the height of his powers, dripping charisma, cutting savage insults, and getting insane reactions from the crowd. So, when Mankind, his oddball tag team partner, decided to throw him a "This Is Your Life" segment, you knew it was going to be wild. Mankind brought out people from The Rock's past, his old teacher, his high school coach, even an ex-girlfriend. Each time, The Rock roasted them in the most hilarious ways possible. You never let The Rock start again? Well, you can take your whistle, shine it up real good, turn that sumbitch sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass. This segment went over 20 minutes, completely unscripted, and yet it pulled in some of the highest ratings in Raw history. Why? Because The Rock had the magic. Every word, every expression, every pause, he owned the room. This wasn't just a promo, it was a masterclass in crowd control. You knew this one had to be on here. If I just said the cream rises to the top, most wrestling fans would instantly picture Randy Savage, sunglasses on, head bobbing, pulling tiny coffee creamies out of thin air. This promo was pure Savage energy. He was in the middle of his rivalry with Ricky Steamboat, But instead of cutting a traditional promo, he went off the rails in the best way possible. No script, no structure, just Savage rambling about being the best, while literally pulling coffee creamers out of nowhere. And yet, it worked. Why? Because Savage had that unmatched intensity. Even when he was spouting nonsense, you couldn't take your eyes off him. It was chaotic, it was bizarre, and it was perfectly Macho Man. There are a few people in wrestling who can cut a promo like Paul Heyman, and this was one of the best. The year was 2001. The WWF vs WCW/ECW invasion angle was in full swing, and Heyman, who had been the mastermind behind ECW, had joined forces with the Alliance. On the SmackDown before Survivor Series, Heyman got a love mark in front of Vince McMahon, and he let loose. He called Vince out for killing the territories, for putting guys like Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler in their positions instead of him, for destroying ECW. This wasn't just a promo. This felt real. Heyman wasn't playing a character, he was venting years of frustration. And it was pure fire. And what did Vince do? He sat there, stone-faced, letting Heyman unload before finally shutting him up with one punch. It was a promo so good that even the smarkiest fans had to wonder, was that a shoot? Jake Roberts is one of the greatest talkers in wrestling history because he didn't yell. Most wrestlers screamed into the mic to get their attention, their point across. Jake, he spoke softly, making you lean in. This promo was during his feud with the Ultimate Warrior. Roberts had lured Warrior into a series of tests, claiming to be guiding him, only to betray him. And then the two chilling words, "Trust me." That was it. That was all he needed to say. No screaming, no over-the-top antics, just cold, calculated evil. Jake made you believe every word, and that's what made him dangerous. And that's it for this episode. Make sure to continue listening next episode, and where we count down from 5 to 1 and see what made the list. Have I missed anything so far? What would you change from this episode, from this part of the list? Let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, like the podcast, share with your friends. And until next time, just keep podding around.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast. Ozcast. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.